administration and the area councils to put the collection of tenement rates on hold.
Why the Act says this FCT IRS cannot collect tenement rates except that power is donated by the area councils.
In another development, the Office of the Surveyor General of the Federation has assured Nigerians that the country is not under threat of a dangerous earth tremor. The coordinating director from the office, Barde Jatau, gave the assurance in a meeting with the House of Representatives Committee on Works.
I have assured you that we are not on ring of fire. It is intraplate fault activity, seismic activity within a plate.
So whatever proposals you are making, it should inherently contain the opportunity and capacity for you to propagate that information across to Nigeria. Both by website use, both regular briefing.
The Office of the Surveyor General assured the committee that the report of the Kaduna incident will be ready before the end of this year. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
To reduce traffic bottlenecks in Abuja metropolis, FCT Minister Mohammed Musa Bello has appealed to the police force to remove all remaining road barricades around its formation in the nation's capital. This came during the meeting with the Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 7, Salisu Abdullahi, who paid the minister a courtesy visit. Mitaire Ikben tells us more.
The FCT minister pointed out that while the military has complied with removing road barricades around their formations, the police has remained adamant to his earlier appeal to dismantle the barricades around its Area 10 Garki CID command and other formations, which cause traffic gridlock.
One area that is of concern to us, which I would like to mention to you, is the barrier around your office, Zone 7 headquarters. At Zone 4. I think if you can review the security situation and if you are comfortable that your men and your facilities are well secured, I would like to appeal to you to remove the barrier.
The minister also urged the police high command to help the FCT administration address the incursions of commercial motorcycles, tricycles, also known as keke napep, and scavengers into the city center. Responding, the AIG Zone 7, Salisu Abdullahi, assured that the police will be proactive in their approach in securing the seat of government.
We will have a striking force in terms of terrorism, in terms of robbery, kidnapping, and all these areas that actually have bedeviled the country recently.
He also promised to act on the FCT minister's request for the deployment of more police personnel in Zone 7 command of the force, comprising of the Federal Capital Territory, Niger and Kaduna states. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
For Nigeria to move forward economically, the science and technology sector must be motivated, re-energized and properly funded. This assertion resulted from the conversation between Minister of Science and Technology and the Senate Committee members on Science and Technology, led by its chairman, Professor Ajayi Borough, on oversight function. Science correspondent Kirian Umayo reports.
Classified as a live ministry, which cuts across other ministries, the senators are worried about how the Ministry of Science and Technology and its agencies have been perceived, which led to its neglect by previous administrations in the country. Chairman of the committee, Professor Ajayi Borough, noted that the political will of a nation to lay emphasis on science and technology determines the level of development of the nation.
Now I can see indications of progress in this ministry. I want to assure you, Honorable Minister, solidly the support of your efforts to re-engineer the Ministry of Science and Technology for the development of our nation.
Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Obonia Onu, told the committee members that the ministry is working harmoniously with research institutes, industries, agencies under the ministry, the private sector, and state government for effective deployment of research results to the development of the nation.
We are also working closely with state governments to ensure that whatever we do here, that the various state governments are aware and they can take advantage of the research findings that the research institutes and agencies of this ministry generate.
The Senate Committee on Science and Technology were at the ministry to assess its performance, challenges, and prospects. Kirian Umayo, NTA News.
The need for government at all levels to engage more of the services of indigenous contractors has been re-echoed at a special engagement between the Nigerian Society of Engineers and lawmakers with engineering background. Adebola Brooksland Sunday reports.
By releasing funds.
The release of funds by the federal government to mobilize contractors back to sites. The president, Nigerian Society of Engineers, Otis Anyeji, says it's a welcome development. But he, however, wants indigenous contractors to be given more contracts to help in strengthening the nation's economy.
We want the National Assembly to make laws that will empower Nigerians in business to make sure that at least all jobs going on here in Nigeria should be done by anybody in partnership with Nigerians, if it is not Nigerian all through. And that partnership should be at least about 50%.
This expands the horizon for employment for Nigerian engineers. Two is that it has a level of retainership to what is generated by local contractors to be retained here.
The need for the creation of a chartered Nigerian Society of Engineers was also deliberated upon.
Need to have an independent body where you can now be able to bring up your rules, your regulations, and then you can check every kind of malpractice in the sector.
The interactive session between the leadership of the Nigerian Society of Engineers and engineer legislatures is to further fast-track better engineering practice in Nigeria. Adebola Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
A police force headquarters has paraded 9 suspected kidnappers who allegedly abducted some residents in Port Harcourt, River State, and 5 others in Lagos State. The first public relations officer, DCP Don Auna, in a statement said the suspects were arrested in various parts of the 2 states. The statement added that the suspects, aged between 23 and 34, had terrorized residents of Port Harcourt and were arrested on the 12th of this month, while those in Lagos were arrested on the 7th of this month. The suspects were allegedly involved in the abduction of some residents of an estate in Isheri area of Lagos. The statement further says the suspects will be charged to court as the police is determined to ensure that those involved in criminal activities do not escape justice. You're watching NTA Nationwide. Will now take you to our Lagos Network Center where Abdullahi is standing by.
Thank you, Isaac, and thanks for joining us. The federal government has been advised to pay more attention to building infrastructure that will help boost agricultural activities. This, a United Kingdom-based agro-expert, Patricia Obichukwu, says will help Nigeria's agro products meet global standard and boost demand. Doindia reports.
Poor irrigation methods, poor chemical preservation of seeds, harvesting procedures and packaging, as well as traceability are some of the factors responsible for the non-attainment of the global good agricultural procedures for the exportation of Nigerian agricultural products. This is why stakeholders from various states of the Federation converge on Lagos to chart a way forward.
Nigeria has been blanketed for brown beans. If we have a good system, what we are building right now, it won't happen.
A United Kingdom-based management consultant, Patricia Obichukwu, says for Nigeria to pass the global risk assessment of social practice on agro-allied products, necessary infrastructure and relevant training must be in place for the farmers.
We will support Nigeria to set interpretation guidelines so that eventually Nigeria can have its own gap, which will be benchmarked with global gap.
Some of the participants speak.
Our eyes will be open. And so if we want to go into this international market, we need to meet other standards.
The demand is so high that even us small-scale exporters cannot even meet up.
The attainment of the Global Good Agricultural Practice certification, according to the facilitator, will further open up the Nigerian export industry and boost foreign income earnings in Lagos. Doing Dia, NTA News.
A book that seeks to galvanize a discourse on the Biafra-Nigeria civil war with a view to providing revenge to victims on both sides has been presented to the public in Lagos. The book, titled How and Why the Yoruba Fought and Lost the Biafra-Nigeria Civil War, is written by a seasoned author and journalist, Jumanze Ego Aloes. John Ojuku reports.
How and Why the Yoruba Fought and Lost the Biafra-Nigeria Civil War is an adventure into the Nigerian history through facts and the neglected chronology of events and their meanings. The author Jumanze Ego Aloes said he was inspired to delve into this important aspect of Nigeria's history in order to provide a platform for Nigerians to re-evaluate modern history as well as stir up their interest in national affairs.
What inspired us in this book is to make an intellectual contribution to the development of the Nigerian man and possibly the Nigerian state, because the state can only develop to the extent the man who inhabits the state is developed.
The book reviewer Charles Ike Oko described the publication as one that would provoke intellectual discourse towards a greater Nigeria.
Provocative book, it's something that will really begin to make us think about how we have so far, moved the nation forward.
The book got raving reviews.
It's a book that is primed to, provoke debates about the nation state, about the place of ethnic nationalities in the federation.
It is when you keep silent that the other man may not even know what you have in mind. Speak, let us know where we classify you. This book has given a history, an opinion, and an analysis of what happened, and even a projection. So when you read it, you can either agree with him or you disagree with him.
The 226-page book is recommended for every Nigerian. In Lagos, Jane Uju.
National Orthopedic Hospital Igbobi has resolved to build a world-class research and information communication technology center for its nursing department. The head of the nursing department, Mrs. Veronica Oladunjoye, said this at the opening ceremony of the 2016 Nurses Week in Lagos. Thomas Ogbetere tells us more.
The research center, according to the head of nursing department of the National Orthopedic Hospital Igbobi Yaba, Mrs. Veronica Olagundoye, will be built at no cost to neither the management of the hospital nor the government. That was why a 250 million naira launching was organized as part of the Nurses Week. Mrs. Veronica Olagundoye also said the research center will help nurses in research in order to perform their 4 fundamental responsibilities of promoting health, preventing illness, restoring health, and alleviating suffering. She also expressed optimism that the Nurses Week and Scientific Conference will help boost the morale of nurses to be more resilient to improve the health sector.
The nursing diagnosis, there are some subjective data that you collect from this patient. So when we have this center, we'll be able to go into research, because research is dynamic.
The goal at the end of the day is to improve the outcome of the health sector.
Some members of the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives also enumerated some of the benefits of building such a research center at this time. Some dignitaries who graced the occasion in their goodwill messages described the proposed building project as laudable. The theme of the 2016 Nurses Week and Scientific Conference was Nurses, a Force for Change, improving health system resilience for the present and the next generation. In Lagos, Thomas Obetere, NTA News.
And those are top stories at this moment. Back to Isaac in Abuja, who has more reports. Isaac, over to you.
Organization known as the Africa Support and Empowerment Initiative, AFRISAI, has denied allegations of franchise infringement leveled against it by the Bring Back Our Girls group. A statement jointly signed by the organization's president, Hadiza Buhari Bello, daughter of President Muhammadu Buhari, and the secretary, Don Uche, says AFRISAI is a responsible body that would never engage in illegal activities such as stealing someone else's franchise. The statement adds that while the Bring Back Our Girls group sustained awareness about the plight of the kidnapped Chibok schoolgirls, AFRISAI is assisting Chibok and other devastated communities through skills acquisition for the youths and the less privileged. The Registrar and Chief Executive Officer of the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, Professor Isiaq Oloyede, says computer-based test is critical to the credibility and integrity of examinations in Nigeria and anywhere in the world. He said this when he paid a familiarization visit to Victory International Institute of Theology and Education in Abuja. He stressed that government alone cannot provide the facilities needed for the administration of examination, hence the need for partnership with other institutions. The JAMB Registrar commended the management of Victory Institute of Theology and Education for providing state-of-the-art facilities for the training of advanced studies candidates. He also expressed the readiness of the board to partner with other institutions. The Chancellor of Victory International Institute of Theology and Education, Professor Sam Ale, expressed the preparedness of the institute to provide an enabling environment for JAMB examinations and training of quality candidates to advanced level. The creative exploration and innovative application of the nation's cultural resources and knowledge has been identified as a measure capable of redeeming Nigeria from the current economic and social biannual conference of the Nigerian Oral Literature Association in Abuja. Tessie Justin Bisong has details.
As efforts intensify towards diversifying the nation's economy, the tourism sector through traditional festivals, historical sites and monuments, traditional sports, as well as artifacts, is being promoted to preserve Nigeria's cultural heritage and attract foreign investors. With the theme, Orality, New Media and Creative Industries, scholars in cultural studies are determined to challenge prevailing policies and ideological inclinations. Professor Mobolanle Santusa stressed the need to explore creative and cultural industries.
We can actually commercialize, the sharing of these cultural artifacts, for entertainment, for education, for performance. All of these things can be commercialized.
President of the association, Professor Godini Dara, criticized an infiltration into the Nigerian society and stressed the need for Nigerians to serve as agents of change and transformation.
The power that moves the whole world from ancient times to now is intellect. Once you give a cultural item intellectual recognition, it assumes a new dimension.
Tessie Justin Bisong, NTA News.
The Director General, Nigerian Television Authority, has described the 2016 Africast as a success and that NTA will take advantage of some modern equipment to further strengthen its stations for high-definition signals in the transmission of programs. Adebola Brooklyn Sunday reports.
The three-day biennial event ended with exhibitors disconnecting and dismantling their stands.
Their equipment and even content providers are not left behind.
The NTA, probably more than any other broadcaster, shows how public service broadcasters can stay apace and stay ahead of technology.
Luisa Finetti is in Nigeria for the first time.
My experience was very positive because the market is a growing market, so we hope to have a very good business for the future. But Nigerian people are so kind, so polite, so I really like them so much.
Broadcast equipment distributor Jihad Anzie wants more African broadcast equipment manufacturers to participate in subsequent Africas.
Country to attend the exhibition, so to be more business for Nigeria.
Director General of the NTA, who is the chairman, Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria, BON, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, says Africast has repositioned NTA for improved quality signal content.
Can't come to a place like this and go, without seeing something new. Africast is an exhibition avenue for manufacturers, content providers, and so on and so forth. Of course, when you have such a gathering of eminent manufacturers and providers of content, you are bound to see something new. Yes, I've seen something new.
Africast is an initiative of Nigeria's broadcast regulator, the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC. In Abuja, Adebola, Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the media sector has been lauded for its role in information dissemination, accurate news reporting, programming, and promoting national unity and development, as well as the sustenance of the nation's democratic experience. This formed the thrust of the first National Merit Award organized by Radio, Television, Theatre and Arts Workers Union of Nigeria, RATAU, in Abuja. Joseph is the contribution of some governors and personalities to the growth of the sector.
It is the first of its kind, a homecoming for broadcasters. Those who laid the foundation for the industry and the younger ones are all gathered here to share in a moment their contributions, and exceptional performances will not only be recognized but also awarded accordingly. The awardees, ranging from broadcast media stations, including the Nigerian Television Authority, as the best station for national harmony and development.
You can't beat the rich.
Individuals, groups, agencies, special awards to the governors of Kano and Ogun states, and a few others were all identified as having genuinely contributed to the growth and development of the media. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, was represented by the Deputy Director, Federal Ministry of Information, Charles Ojugbana.
The Federal Ministry of Information and Culture would always continue to be partners and great supporters of the greatest ideals of RATAU.
With the awards presented and received, recipients and others who were witnesses were challenged to sustain and maintain professionalism to keep up with international best practices. Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
And strengthening public-private partnership and adequate management of human resource are key to taking Nigeria out of the current economic recession. Minister of Industries, Trade and Investment, a conference of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria. Patricia Isamiluba reports.
I formally declare this conference.
This national conference of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria, CIPM, is the 48th in the series. It is an annual event which brings together members of the institute from across the country, and the central theme for 2016 is People, Potential, Possibilities. The choice of the conference theme, CIPMN's president, Anthony Arabomese, is in the essence of the institute's existence, which is geared towards assisting Nigeria and Nigerians to develop human capital and potential in the country.
It is really saying people are at the core of success. There may be difficulties, but we should never underestimate the potential of human talent.
The basic ingredient this institute brings is the development and the growth of the human resources for national development.
At the end of the day, we expect that this theme is correlated and impacts the organizations and even the country at large.
Our deliberations and the ideas that have been spread at the conference, we should be able to galvanize a situation where job opportunities will be created for Nigerians.
For the Minister of Industries, Trade and Investment, Okechukwu Enelema, Making the Nigerian's economy recession short-lived is the focus of the federal government, and through its diversification efforts, it will keep working with the private sector to reform the nation's economy.
If you go and check every country that has developed, that's what they've done successfully. And I'm sure Nigeria will not be any different. And that is why we're very keen to establish this partnership and build bridges.
Plenary sessions at the conference unleashing potentials and possibilities, the essence of the public service and the future of Nigerians' productivity, as well as employment and decent work towards a better nation, among others. From the International Conference Center, Abuja, I am Patricia A. Samiluba, NTA News.
And talking health now, for Nigeria to stop losing about 1 million children annually and over 56 women during childbirth due to ineffective and inefficient primary health care services, it has to increase its health sector funding to enhance primary health care delivery that caters for about 70% of its citizens. This came to the fore at a workshop on increasing health sector budgeting. Health correspondent Rashidat Mustafa Olagunju reports.
Noting the gradual exit of donor funds to the health sector from 2016, observers say government should take ownership of areas covered by donor agencies, as well as implement the provisions of the National Health Act that mandates the provision of at least not less than 1% of the Consolidated Revenue Fund to the Basic Healthcare Fund to enhance healthcare delivery, particularly in the rural areas.
We believe there is a continuous need for the government of Nigeria through the Federal Ministry of Health and the Federal Ministry of Budget and National Planning to engage with relevant civil society organizations working in the health sector to serve as the people's voice during the full spectrum of the budget process.
It should be a draft. A stakeholder analysis should be done. And in that stakeholder analysis, you identify people based on the inputs they can make. They are sure that we have what people want. At the end of the day is that the Nigerian people are getting the health they need.
Public-private partnership is advocated with transparency and efficient supervision so as not to price public health facilities beyond the reach of the common man.
Civil society should be involved in the medium-term sector strategy, which then informs the medium-term expenditure framework from which the operating annual budget for the country in the health sector and the other sectors are drawn.
The workshop is at the instance of the Federal Ministry of Health in collaboration with PACFA. Rashidat Mustafa Olagunju, NTA News.
You're watching Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. More reports when we return. Do stay.
When has it reached this? Much less this. And this. And this. And this. Help reclaim our Commonwealth. Lend your support to the fight against corruption for a better Nigeria.
Who are you and what is your predicament?
Please, I'm looking for Kande. Who is living here? In this compound?
Oh no, this is a premises. The compound is an amalgam of chemicals, and there is no candy living in this premises.
This week on your award-winning comedy series, Professor John Bull, starring Kanayo Okanayo, Mercy Johnson, Queen Wokoye, Funky Malam, Bimbo Akintola, Ime Bishop, Yomi Fash Lanso, MC for God.
Who was you? What was you found?
Actually, look at you. I going to look for my sister. I know you are
here. And you was found the place. Call me. Okay?
Say somebody.
She's definitely not my sister. Shut up!
Professor John Bull, fasten your seatbelts this Tuesday and Friday, 8:30 to 9 p.m. on NTA Network, International, and Star Times. It's absolutely bombastic.
Over and
out. The largest data network, Glow, grandmasters of data.
The Honorable Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, invites state commissioners, permanent secretaries and directors of information and all other stakeholders in the information sector to the 46th National Council on Information with the theme, Leveraging on Information and Digital Technology to Sustain the Change Agenda of Government. Chief host, Senator Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, Governor of Delta State. Venue, Event Center, Okpanam Road, Asaba, Delta State. Date, 26 to 29 October 2016. Program is as follows. Wednesday, 26 October 2016. Time, 12 noon to 3 p.m. Arrival and registration of participants. Thursday, 27 October 2016. Time, 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Registration continues and 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. is slated for the technical session. Friday, 28 October 2016. Time, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Registration of state commissioners. 9 a.m. to 12 noon. Opening ceremony. And from 12 noon to 6 p.m., the council meeting would take place. Announcer, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Our latest edition of TV Guide is out. This edition of your favorite magazine will simply blow your mind. The package is loaded, and our offering is quite illuminating. NTA has a new Director General, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, a tested and trusted professional, an old wine that keeps getting better with age. This is the new driver of the digital switch over train. Get to know him more in TV Guide. And now, on our cover is one of Nigeria's finest comic actors, Afiz Oyetoro, aka Saka. Peep into his world and you will see how he is putting from glory to glory. The change agenda of President Muhammadu Buhari, we did an assessment so far. All our refreshing columns and incisive features are a collector's item and research materials. TV Guide, available on your newsstands and in all NTA stations nationwide. Also in our embassies in United Kingdom, USA, China, Ghana and Egypt. TV Guide, grab a copy and give one to a friend. TV Guide, still your indispensable companion.
IGR Workshop for heads of tertiary institutions in Nigeria, holding in Abuja. In times like this, only creative and innovative institutions can fulfill their visions and missions. Join other vice chancellors, rectors, and provosts for this 360 degrees strategic blueprint summit for tertiary institutions, internally generated and third stream revenues. Date 1st and 2nd November 2016. Venue Race Continental Hotel, Central Business District, Abuja. For inquiries, call 0818-502-1405 or 090-345-34925. You can also email us with info@scbsedu.org or you visit our website on www.scbsedu.org/IGR Abuja to register. Please come with the directors of income generating centers of your institution. IGR Workshop. Relearn, network, and re-strategize. This initiative is of Sean Cousins Consulting and NTA TV Enterprise.
Call of change, stand up, Nigeria. Change is here and it's going to stay. Change begins with you. Oh yeah, make we go. So let the change begin from within. Look at you, Ogerola. Change begins with you and me. Change begins with me. Change begins with me. Change begins with me.
For over 25 years, I have been privileged to anchor various programs on television. But the news program that I find most exciting and challenging is The Weekend File. This is largely because of its philosophy of engaging all classes of people, the artisans, politicians, technocrats, captains of industry, and professional analysts on issues that touch all aspects of life and living. In the conversations that follow, you find complexities, different views, ideologies, thought patterns, and individual beliefs. It's quite engaging. We do this Saturdays on NTA network service at 9 p.m. It's Weekend File, but you call it Weekend Companion, and it's all about nation building. Join me, Kyrian Umayo, and production crew every Saturday for this weekend treat, and I can tell you that it is unmissable. Make it a date.
Welcome back. Governor Ugwai inspects ongoing road rehabilitation in the state. Ngozi in our Enugu Network Center has details of this and more. Hello, Ngozi. It seems purple is the color for us today.
Thank you, Kuma Isaac, and welcome to Enugu Network Center. Enugu State Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi has charged contractors handling various road construction and rehabilitation projects in the state to ensure high quality and timely completion of the projects. The governor was speaking during the inspection of the ongoing road rehabilitation along Enugu-Oji River, Ugwuoba, Onitsha Old Road axis. Ijeoma Ugwueke has the details.
For some time now, traveling along Enugu-Oji River, Ugwuoba Old Road has been a nightmare due to the failed portions of the federal road. The governor, represented by the deputy governor during the inspection, said the state government decided to rehabilitate the road to curb the adverse effects on the state's socio-economic fortune and ease movement of goods and services along that axis. The governor described the road as an important gateway into the southeast.
I am asking, as I said earlier, if there is anything we can do to finish the project by December, so that our brothers and sisters who are coming in for Christmas will also enjoy it. So we need the road.
The State Commissioner for Works and Infrastructure and the contractor handling the projects urged the people to monitor the projects in their areas and inform government of any shortcomings observed. They, however, commended the governor's enthusiasm to transform the state. In Enugu, Ijeoma Ugwueke, NTA News.
To win the war against crime, there must be a synergy between the public and security agencies in the country. The Assistant Inspector General of Police, Zone 6 Calabar, Abubakar Marafa, said this when he paid a courtesy visit on Ebonyi State Governor David Umahi as part of his one-day working visit to the state. Shinaza John has more.
AIG Abubakar Marafa commended Ebonyi State government for purchasing communication gadgets and installing street lights at the command headquarters. For effective policing, also solicited intelligence gathering from the public through police emergency lines.
We need cooperation, we need synergy, we need assistance, we need information from members of the body. Without it, we cannot achieve our end.
Governor David Umahi, who was honored for supporting the police, condemned the indiscriminate manner which police sometimes conduct arrests, adding that due process should be observed.
Our system is such that when you write a petition, nobody asks you to substantiate the petition with some evidences. People will go ahead to, arrest people.
In an interactive section with officers and men of the command, the AIG emphasized on good conduct, non-mounting of roadblocks, and collection of money for bail, adding that with the introduction of marine police, high rates of crime at the riverine areas in the state will be reduced. The State Police Commissioner, Peace Ibekwe Abdallah, while highlighting some achievements of the command, said inadequate barracks, office accommodation, and absence of riot equipment remains the constraints of the command. In Abakaliki, Chinasa John, NTA News.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has advised members of the public to resist the temptation of investing in makeshift financial institutions known as wonder banks to avoid losing their investments. The zonal head, EFCC Southeast, Johnson Babalola, gave the advice when he briefed journalists on the recent arrests and investigations made by the commission in the zone. Chinyere Okoye reports.
The zonal head of operations, EFCC Southeast, said the commission in the zone has recovered over 244 million naira, 955,000 US dollars, 10,000 euros, and over 3,000 Chinese currency. He said some of these cases have been concluded and over 130,000 US dollars forfeited and paid into the coffers of the federal government. Mr. Babalola announced that the commission is currently investigating some cases of fraud involving individuals operating wonder banks, including Chief Patrick Nwokike of Let's Partner With You and Joshua Mora of Forex Services, whose financial activities have led to loss of huge investments by unsuspecting depositors.
We should not be greedy, we should not looking for merited gain from non-existing business proposals, but this is where the problem comes from.
He added that measures are on to track down more persons involved in political fraud, while confirming the arrest of 2 commissioners and another appointee of the Enugu state government and their subsequent detention by the commission. Mr. Babalola said the EFCC will continue to arrest and prosecute persons who engage in fraudulent activities. In Enugu, Chinyerokoye, NTA News.
That's all from here. It's back to Isaac for a continuation of Nationwide.
Many thanks, Ngozi. The Joint Health Sector Unions, JOHESU, has condemned what it describes as forceful reinstatement of Dr. Angela Owakem as the Managing Director of the Federal Medical Center Owerri by the Federal Ministry of Health. The grouse of JOHESU revolves around the fact that Dr. Owakem was reinstated despite facing a 17-count charge at the State High Court, Owerri. Health correspondent Rabi Abdallah was at a news conference held by the union.
It was at this media briefing held on the 16th of December 2015 that the Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adewole, announced the shutdown of the Federal Medical Center, Owerri. The crisis that has rocked the hospital is between the medical director, Dr. Angela Owakem, and some staff of the hospital following allegations of corruption, high-handedness and fraud. The crisis led to the suspension of the medical director and the subsequent shutdown of the hospital, while an interim committee was constituted to oversee the hospital for a period of time. The Federal Ministry of Health, however, reinstated the medical director of the hospital 2 days ago, an action members of JOHESU are kicking against.
It is our view that the best thing to do in the circumstance and in line with zero tolerance stance of the present government is to interdict or suspend Dr. Angela Owakem, Dr. Mrs. Angela Owakem, and allow her have a day in court to prove her innocence or otherwise.
The union is of the view that Dr. Owakem's reinstatement is aimed at enabling her destroy evidence that could be used against her in court.
In the interest of the nation, Labour will not condone any form of cover-up or victimization of our members who are law-abiding.
The JOHESU chairman pledged support for the federal government's anti-corruption crusade, urging the relevant agency of government to investigate the Federal Ministry of Health on the matter. In Abuja, Rabi Abdallah, NTA News.
And moving on to agriculture now, 2016 wet farming season has been described as successful and favorable considering the reported bumper harvest recorded by farmers nationwide. Officials of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture attributed the success to good climatic condition of crop production. Musa Babali reports that the development has boosted the national food security and the socio-economic well-being of farmers.
The 2016 rainy season set in late and ceased early in most places, especially in northern states, as predicted by the Nigeria Meteorological Agency. Investigations revealed that over 60 million farmers in Nigeria took advantage of the raining period and planted their crops. The farmers say despite the high cost of inputs this year, they are encouraged to produce more food to support the diversification policy of the federal government.
Federal government to supply us with fertilizer on time. Yes, we need it before rainy season, before the rain comes.
The major crops planted this year are rice, maize, millet, guinea corn, soybeans, and vegetables.
I can produce like 200 bags of rice.
Hajia Salama Kabiru, a major rice and wheat farmer in Katsina State, on her part, said this is the first time in about 10 years she had a bumper harvest. We had a good harvest this year, and the prices of the produce is really favoring us, she said. With this success, the International Fund for Agriculture Development, IFAD, is building the capacity of rural farmers in areas of financial literacy and investment to further enhance their socioeconomic well-being.
Financially excluded communities, we wanted them to have access to rural services, and we developed a program, the Rural Business Plan.
Fishermen are not exempted from the value chain program. Apart from teaching them how to fish without the use of chemicals, they are also being equipped with facilities that will boost their business. From Katsina, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Thank you, Musa. Except when medically recommended, experts have strongly advised against the use of skin bleaching creams. The experts, drawn from various relevant medical backgrounds, gave the advice while discussing the topic, skin bleaching, trends and implications, on the platform of NTA's News and Current Affairs program, Good Morning Nigeria. Joy Uzo reports on other issues arising from that discussion.
Many reasons have been given by persons who make use of bleaching creams. While some say such products bring out their beauty, others say they use them to fade spots on their skin, while also presumably protecting it against the effects of the hot African weather. The Good Morning Nigeria guests were of the view that while several chemicals and even natural lightening therapies have been shown to be effective for skin health, others have proven to be toxic and damaging to the skin.
I think it's a psychological problem. Okay. Some ladies feel, oh, if I'm fair, if I'm bright, that will make my man to love me more.
See, the natural ones will, well, let's use the word tone, over a period of time, lightening you to the right color. But when you want to go from dark skin to white to a fair skin, it has to be something drastic, and that is where the harmful effects of basically the corticosteroids.
We should be careful because organ failure has been ascribed to skin bleaching, skin cancers, and even organ cancers.
Considering that pregnancy, harshness of some weathers, and other hormonal factors can negatively impact on the skin, beauticians advise on adopting the right and safe approach to rejuvenating the skin.
A lot of fruits, that can give your skin a natural glow. Then eating a lot of fiber, people don't think about it, but it detoxifies your system, and that can also make your skin to glow. One more thing people can do is vitamin B, niacinamide. People don't think about it, but that also helps to lighten your skin naturally, face dark spots and things like that.
A survey by the World Health Organization, WHO, puts the figure of women that use bleaching creams in Nigeria at 77%, which is one of the highest in the world. In Abuja, Joy Uzo, NTA News.
Patience, perseverance, and doing good are virtues that get any society out of tribulations and challenges. This is the thrust of the sermon at today's Jumat prayers delivered by Imam of Area 8 Jumat Mosque, Garki, Abuja, Ustaz Ilyasu Abdul Mumin. Abdullahi Musa Suleja reports.
For quite some time now, Nigerians have been complaining of harsh economic conditions. This, Imam Abdul Mumin said, hard time is not new in the history of Islam. He said, while it is incumbent on those in a position of authority to continue to look for ways to ameliorate the situation, Allah has mentioned in the Holy Quran that the society will be put on trials and challenges, but patience, which is rewarding, will see the society out of the ooze.
In terms of trial in general, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has coined the similitude in the Holy Quran that He shall test you with hunger, with fear, with death, and the reduction in terms of fruit and food in general. And lastly, He said, if He tests you with all those things, you should be patient, and those that are patient, the paradise, Al-Jannah, is their abode. So Allah give us zeal and the faith to be patient in any trial.
Some worshippers also spoke.
Imam made reference to the previous trials, which is economic hardship. So Imam drew our attention to the fact that this is equally a trial which, with patience, inshallah, at the end of the day, we will all emerge victorious.
The khutbah is quite apt at this point in time that we're facing in this country. So it's a duty upon us as Muslims to continue to be patient, and with patience, certainly the end, that's green light at the end of the tunnel.
The Imam also urged Muslims to always do good to surpass their bad deeds. In Abuja, Abdullahi Musa Suleja, NTA News.
The African risk capacity is aiming to reach a total of 30 countries with corresponding insurance coverage of $1.5 to $2 billion by 2020 as relief for drought, flood and cyclone, benefiting over 150 million persons in Africa. This informed discussions at the initiation workshop for Nigeria held in Abuja. Olajide Bello reports.
The workshop is coming on the heels of the African Union Ministers of Finance recommendation in 2010 to explore the possibility of establishing a continental disaster risk pool. Director General, National Emergency Management Agency, Ibrahim Sanisidi represented, and the Deputy Director, International Eco-Relations Ministry of Finance, described the workshop as the right course for Nigeria to implement its disaster risk financing policy and strategy for weather phenomena.
When you become a member of the African risk capacity, you pay premium for either drought or flood. And then when you are affected by any of this, you are paid compensation.
National policy on climate change, a national contingency plan, a national disaster management framework.
Representative of the Director General African Risk Capacity, Ehoswei Yahe, enunciated what Nigeria stands to gain once it becomes a premium-paying member.
In terms of what the government stands to gain, it's an AU institution, so it's an institution that is mandated to work on behalf of the governments, including Nigeria, and the needs of the Nigerian government. For us, that translates into working with the governments and the various ministries and departments to build a better understanding of disaster risk management and specifically disaster risk financing.
Subsequently, 32 signatories endorsed the agreement establishing the African risk capacity, with Nigeria signing the ARC agreement in December 2014. In Abuja, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
37 female undergraduates of various Nigeria tertiary institutions and 12 orphanages have received scholarship and financial support from the Nigeria Women Association of Georgia, NWAG, at its 14th annual award ceremony held in Abuja. Ogechi Paul has details.
Having satisfied the association's conditions for the scholarship, the female students drawn from the 36 states and the FCT received 75,000 naira each.
37 ladies from all states in Nigeria, and we have 12 orphanage homes. It's an inspiration.
I listen to most of the things people say, fighting to put back tears in my eyes because I was really touched.
And I pray God will give me the ability to use the money for something good.
They're really making female child have that privilege of having a wonderful life.
12 orphanage homes operating in various parts of the country got 160,000 naira each to support their feeding challenge.
We got one of our cows last year, which we bought for 100 and something thousand because of the money we got from the NWAG last year.
Founder of the association, Dayo Keshi, and the immediate past president, Abie Bodage, based in Atlanta, Georgia, say NWAG has a mission to empower and educate the girl child, assist the vulnerable, as well as foster unity and excellence in our society.
Some of these orphanages, once there is a cut in their income, it affects the food for the children. So actually we are specific, to say feed the children well.
A regular family in Nigeria, they will rather educate the male child than the female child. And we thought we would be the voice for the female and also to keep them off the streets and also from compromising their bodies just to get money to live, to survive.
Whatever I can, just collect on my own or whatever I have enough funding for, and I make 20 of those bags and I put $5 in it as well, and I just distribute to the homeless in my community.
That Georgia, United States, has so far awarded 469 local and 48 foreign scholarships. Ogechi Paul, NTA News.
We're talking sports now. Maiden President Muhammadu Buhari Open Swimming Championship set to begin November 10 in Uyo as lower-tier football club owners and managers appeal for shift in date for Federation Cup final. Ayodeji Makinde tells us more in our sports update.
The forthcoming maiden President Muhammadu Buhari Open Swimming Championship, which is billed to kick off in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, November 10, has been described as an avenue to further promote national unity through sports. This was the submission of stakeholders in Abuja Thursday at the presentation of the trophies for the competition to the Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Solomon Dalun, who was represented by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Chinyaka Oha. An appeal has been made to the Nigeria Football Federation to shift the finals of the Federation Cup by 1 week to enable the completion of all league matches for the season. Chairman of Club Owners and Managers Committee, who made the appeal in Abuja Thursday, also noted that the absence of properly constituted boards for the 3 leagues affected the quality of the 2015-2016 Football League season.
The chairman called on the NFF to, as matter of urgency, constitute or have election conducted into the boards of the 3 leagues.
Jose Mourinho returns to Stamford Bridge to face his former club as Chelsea host Manchester United Sunday in Week 9 of the English Premier League, and Southampton travel to Manchester City. Meanwhile, the Arsenal vs Middlesbrough match will be transmitted live on the NTA Saturday at 2:30 p.m. Defending champions Leicester City are at home against visiting Crystal Palace. With sports updates, Ayodeji Makinde, NTA News.
Thousands of sympathizers have paid their last respects to Reverend Father Willie Ojukwu in a mass celebrated by Catholic Archbishop of Abuja, John Cardinal Onayeka. Talate Ezurike reports.
The late vibrant Reverend Father Willie Ojukwu, who made his mark in the Lord's Vineyard, especially in the Federal Capital Territory, answered the call of the Lord on the 15th of October at Jebodi's Monastery. A wake-keep kick-started activities to celebrate the life and times of the widely read Reverend and author who, until his death, was the parish priest of Holy Cross, Gwarimpa.
He was a developer, both spiritual and physical.
He left great legacy of service to humanity, particularly his Marian soup kitchen in Gwagwalada.
And also the boldness of saying it as it is.
Surely Ojukwu was gifted and he made good use of his gift. He was a great instrument in the hands of God.
The next leg, a Requiem Mass. In a homily, Bishop Matthew Hassan Kuka encouraged the congregation not to be weary.
He left us wonderful legacies. We pray that God grant him eternal grace.
For the family, God is in control.
He lived for others and died for others.
He always says his mind, especially when speaking for the poor and downtrodden.
A man who believes in teamwork, a go-getter.
He was a great man of interfaith who believed in good interaction between Christians and Muslims.
The deceased, aged 71, hailed from Anambra State. Talat Ezerike, NTA News.
May so rest in perfect peace. And that does it on Nationwide today. Thank you for watching. Do have a lovely weekend. Good evening.